In today's video, we are walking through a step-by-step guide to transform your life and reach your goals in the last 3 months of 2024 using the winter arc. I am so excited for myself, but also for you, because I really think this is the most magical time of the year for self-improvement. If you haven't heard of it, basically the winter arc is where you lock in for the last few months of the year to reach your goals before the new year. I think there's something so powerful about taking this time to focus on yourself and getting a head start. As we are all probably aware, this is one of the easiest times of year to fall off, especially with our health and fitness goals. I honestly usually get a little bit sad during the winter, but this is perfect because this year I'm reframing it as a gift because I basically have no other option but to stay inside and work on myself. Okay, let's get into the step-by-step plan that I am also using and you can use as well to achieve your goals before New Year's. First thing, of course, is setting those goals. We need a direction to aim for. I think there are two key parts of setting good goals. The first is, of course, what the goal is, but the second is why. And I think this is something that is really easy to neglect. Research shows, though, that if we have a strong why tied to our goals, it actually increases our likelihood of achieving them significantly. At this step, I really like to envision my future self and think about who I want to be, what that person is like, and what they're doing, and kind of work backwards from there. So in this case, thinking about going into the new year 2025, what do I want to have accomplished by then, and what kind of person do I want to be? I really like to focus too on how I want to feel and work backwards from there. I think at this step, it is important to go small or go home. Like, not go big, go very small, very specific. There's a lot of evidence that if we take on too much with the goals that we're setting, it's easy to feel discouraged because we can create this kind of failure cycle where we set the bar too high, we set way too many goals or something that's way too complicated and is going to take much longer than, let's say, 3 months to accomplish. And then when we aren't able to accomplish it, we feel frustrated, and it's just so counterproductive. And I have done this to myself so many times in my life where I set the bar too high for whether it's a work goal, a health and fitness goal, whatever it is. So I like to take whatever I think I can reasonably do and cut it in half. And usually my 50% estimate ends up being way closer to reality than my original estimate of something I thought was feasible. Here's an example from my life of how I kind of self-sabotage and start these failure cycles. Is every morning I do some daily planning. So I set my top 3 goals I want to accomplish that day. I almost never accomplish all 3 of them because I choose the most complicated things, and sometimes even accomplishing one of my 3 goals will take me 4 or 5 hours of the day. Trust me. I have found, both from the research I've done on goal setting and achieving our goals, but also my own personal experience, it is much better to under promise and over deliver, and it creates this kind of forward momentum and domino effect that is so powerful. If you want ideas for goals or habits you might want to implement, I just did a video about 21 healthy habits I wish I knew when I was 21, and I will link it up here in case you want to watch that next. I think it's most powerful when the goals that we're setting are actually meaningful to us, and it is so much easier to stay motivated and stick to them when they have a real why behind them. Okay, step 2, planning. This is a quote from Grace Beverly that I love. A goal without a plan is just a wish. So now we're kind of getting into the how and the systems that we're going to put into place to actually achieve that goal. So for example, if your goal was to lose fat before the new year, then you'd want to plan your calorie deficit, maybe some meals that you want to eat, snacks you want to eat that would fit within your calorie deficit. You'd want to create an exercise plan, figure out your daily activity, things like that. Or maybe you want to finish a project that you're working on for work. You could break it down into smaller individual steps that you need to take and then plan to accomplish certain ones each week to make sure that you're on track for the next couple of months. If you want to eat healthier, for example, maybe you would want to make a plan to meal prep and save a bunch of recipes to a Pinterest board or something. This time of year is incredibly busy, so I find the most important thing for making this actually feasible is being as efficient as possible. Otherwise, it's just going to be really hard to make time for working towards our goals while also juggling all of the socializing, spending time with friends and family. I have been getting a lot of requests for time-efficient workouts for a busy schedule. Those are coming soon, so stay tuned. I think those will be especially helpful during this upcoming season. But yeah, at this step, just really taking a step back and thinking, how can I actually do this? What are the little daily steps that I need to take? What are the habits I want to build to accomplish this goal? And break things down into bite-sized pieces, things that you can accomplish on a daily or weekly scale. The next thing I love to do is set up a progress tracker. There's some interesting research on this that we feel the most motivated at the beginning and the end of goal pursuit. But the time that it's really hard to stay motivated is in the middle. I have found that the easiest way to keep that momentum and motivation going throughout the middle period is by seeing and tracking your progress. I'll give you some ideas of different things you might want to try and dabble with. I really do find that it's very personal what is going to be the most fun and motivating for you. You could do a paper habit tracker. I know a lot of people love to put a calendar up on their fridge and cross off every day that they complete a habit or a task they need to do. You could also do a Google Sheets list with a percent completed. I'm working on a project right now and I check a box every time I finish a piece of the project, and then it calculates my overall percent completed, which is a lot, I know. But if you're into Google Sheets, then that would be a fun one. If you're trying to lose weight, for example, something that really motivated me was inputting my weight every day into MyFitnessPal, and then you could zoom out across 90 days or a whole year or whatnot and see over time the weight loss progress that you're making in like a chart. Another great one, especially if you have a physique goal, is to measure the weight that you're lifting. Like maybe you want to build muscle, get stronger. You could do measurements, you could do progress photos. I love progress photos for measuring physical transformations like weight loss or gaining muscle or things like that. And the important thing is setting some kind of reminder or putting the progress tracker in plain sight so that you actually remember to update your progress. And once you start tracking it, it gets a lot easier to remember. It just kind of becomes a part of your routine. But I just find that tracking progress is so helpful for staying motivated throughout the entire time you're pursuing a goal. The next thing I like to set up is reminders. So I find the more often I'm reminded of my goals, the easier it is to stick to them. So I love to set up like calendar alerts. A lot of times I've set up like daily alarms on my phone to remind myself of my goals for that day, what I'm working towards, what I'm working on. I love putting sticky notes up on like my fridge or my bathroom mirror. I also love going on Pinterest and making like a vision board of what I'm going for and then saving that for like a computer wallpaper or a phone wallpaper. Those little reminders really do help a lot day to day to help you make all of these tiny little decisions that will slowly get you closer to your goals, because really achieving our goals really comes down to hundreds or thousands of daily small decisions we can make to chip away at it, right? So I just find these reminders actually really do help, because day to day I need to be locked in, knowing what I'm working towards so I can make all those little decisions that will get me closer. The next thing I do is make it easy. I like to try and create an environment where it is easier to reach my goals. So for example, if I wanted to work out more at home, then I would put my workout gear out in the living room or in my bedroom in plain sight so I don't have to go dig it out of a closet every time I want to work out. I love laying my gym clothes out the night before so that when I'm waking up, in the morning rushing to get my workout in before going to work, for example, I just have it laid out right there. If I wanted to order less DoorDash, which I definitely do, both to save money but also to eat a little bit healthier, maybe I would just delete the DoorDash app from my phone, because it's like I could still log in on my desktop or whatnot. Like I could still get DoorDash, but I make it a little harder on myself. Or if I wanted to eat healthier, eat more fruits and vegetables, making sure that I'm picking those foods up at the grocery store and keeping tons of healthy foods at my house ready to go, accessible, would make that environment just a little bit more tailored to help me reach my goals. This is a principle I learned from Atomic Habits, which I will link down below. It's a fantastic book and it would be an awesome read during this time of the year, I feel like especially. This concept is essentially just to make the things you want to do more attractive and the things you don't want to do less attractive. So add a little bit of friction between yourself and something you want to do less of, and reduce the friction between yourself and the thing you want to do more of. It might sound silly, but trust me, it makes a huge difference and it's really, really worth trying. Next, let's talk about some mindset shifts that have been really, really helpful for me and something I definitely want to bring into the end of this year. I am trying to go from an I have to mindset to an I get to mindset. I think it's important to remember that it's truly a privilege to be able to move our bodies, eat nutritious foods, take care of ourselves, work towards our goals. The fact that we can focus our time and energy on bettering ourselves rather than just kind of like basic survival or all the other challenges that life can bring is seriously, it's such a privilege, and it's something I try to remind myself of and be grateful for every single day, because that tiny shift in your mindset makes it so much easier and more enjoyable to go do these things that are good for yourself. Because let's be honest, I'm not always in the mood to work out. Some mornings I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I do not want to go on a run, or I do not want to go to the gym today. Or sometimes when I have like a healthy meal prepped in my fridge ready to go, I'm like, I really wish I was eating a pizza right now, not eating this, veggie bowl. At the beginning, when I started to kind of shift my mindset on that a little bit, I didn't fully believe it, but I do think if you give it some time, it starts to sink in and you do start to believe it. But at first you might be like, is it really a privilege to work out? But over time, I do start to really feel and believe that. The other mindset shift is about identity. So rather than thinking I need to eat healthy today or I'm going to eat healthy today, shifting that to I am a healthy person. This was another principle from Atomic Habits. I feel like identity shifts are so powerful for our ability to actually reach our goals, because when we tell ourselves, okay, I am a healthy person, at every decision we make during the day, what would a healthy person do? What would a healthy person eat for breakfast? How would a healthy person work out? How would a healthy person prioritize their fitness during the day, even if they didn't have a lot of time? This is where I think manifesting concepts kind of come into play, because when we start acting the way we would if we've achieved our goals already, those actions are the ones that often can actually get us there. Next thing is romanticizing the journey. And I think romanticizing the process is important for anything we do, but I think it's especially important when the days are short, there's not a lot of sunlight, it's cold, dark, and sad. I really believe strongly though, in general, that we have to fall in love with the process in order to make anything stick in our life. So I'm always asking myself, how can I make this more enjoyable, more fun? So for example, like we're going into the holiday season, maybe we can find a way to make some like higher protein, lower calorie holiday treats. Personally, I am on a mission to recreate a peppermint mocha at home that's high protein and lower calorie, so that I don't have to give up like the fun of the holiday season, but I can still kind of like reach my nutrition nutrition and fitness goals? Or how can I find workouts I actually enjoy and look forward to? Or how can I make them more fun and enjoyable? Like maybe I want to go to a workout class with a friend, or find a really good playlist of songs that really pump me up, or maybe I pick out a new activewear set that makes me feel really confident and looks really cute. These little things can actually make a huge difference. They sound silly, but even something as simple as thinking about the presentation of a healthy meal and making it look a little bit nicer can actually make a huge difference on my enjoyment of like the whole process. So I'm gonna be thinking a lot about romanticizing the process this winter, and I found in the past that really helps me to actually stick to the new habits I'm trying to build and the goals I want to achieve. Okay, we have to talk about overcoming obstacles because, as we all probably know, this is one of the hardest times of the year to stick to your goals, especially if your goals are health, wellness, and fitness focused. But honestly, I think that's the fun part. Like, I think it's a fun challenge. I have a tip for you. Research shows that if we try to forecast or imagine the obstacles we're going to face in advance, and we make a plan to address those obstacles, we hugely increase our chances of being able to overcome those obstacles when we face them. I know myself pretty well by this point. The things that I tend to do to self-sabotage, like I'm a perfectionist, so if I have a project I'm trying to finish, I will tend to make like all these tiny changes and get like so into the details that I just completely lose the plot. That's something I know to look out for in myself, and a way that I could combat that is by setting a timer and saying, I need to have this done in 30 minutes. I will get it as good as I can during that time period, but after that, it's done. I'm going to move on to the next thing. That's just one example, but thinking about what obstacles you'll run into and making a plan for them, I think especially with the holidays, if you have a fitness goal, thinking about how can I get quick workouts in when I'm visiting my family during the holidays because I'm not gonna have access to a gym. Write some workouts down, save some workouts from YouTube or Instagram or whatnot. Or maybe, what am I gonna eat when I go to the holiday party this weekend with my friends? Maybe I'm gonna have a high protein snack in advance, and then I'm just gonna enjoy myself at the party and, not worry about it. That's a plan. But having a plan for the obstacles you're gonna face means that you don't have to make those decisions in the moment. Likelihood is you'll make a much better decision, at least I've found this for myself, if I make the choice in advance instead of in the moment. Even though it's a really tough time of year to lock in, I think the really cool thing is that we have one last chance to prove to ourselves that we can do it, hit those goals that maybe we set out even at the beginning of 2024. 3 months is quite a long time. Even a month is a long time. You can make so much progress in that time. I think it's an exciting challenge. I love the idea of proving to yourself that you can do it, finishing strong. I'm so pumped up. My last note is just to stay consistent. I'm getting a little bit irritated because I've been seeing a lot of people on social media spreading some rumors about how long it takes to build a habit, so I want to set the record straight. You might be able to build good habits for your health or fitness or wellness or productivity or whatever in the next 90 days, but it also might take longer. Research shows that depending on the habit and the person, how difficult the habit is for them, it can take up to like 250 days to build a habit. You're gonna hear a lot of people saying, research shows that it takes 21 days to build a habit or 66 days or whatever. Little statistics lesson. Those are averages. Don't let them gaslight you with that. I'm neurotic about statistics and data, and I swear I lose a day off my life every time I see someone report that the research shows that it takes a certain amount of time to build a habit. Unreasonable rage. My eye is about to start twitching right now. But like I said, it can range anywhere from a few days all the way up to 250, but the really amazing news is that if you stay consistent, if you keep going, you can build that habit and that neural circuit in your brain to make the habit more reflexive. And if you start now, you will have a huge head start compared to if you started on New Year's Day. If you miss a day throughout the process, just jump back on. The way I like to think about it is adding marbles to a jar. Every day that you can practice that habit or take that step to get closer towards your goals is a win, because eventually you'll fill that jar all the way up and you'll have built that habit or achieved that goal. If you miss a day, a week, a couple of weeks, even a month, it's not like all the work that you put in before is just suddenly gone. I hope you can feel like my excitement and passion through the screen. I'm seriously so excited for these next few months. I would love to hear about your goals and what you're working on in the comments so that we can all kind of like get inspired and motivated together. And to be fair, I will share a goal that I am working on. So I've been working on a really exciting project for almost a year now, and my goal is to launch it before New Year's, which is so crazy to think about. I really hope that you guys will love it as much as I do. I've been seriously pouring my heart and soul into this project. So for everyone still watching, I will give you a hint. If you want to transform your fitness in the new year, but you've been struggling to stay motivated and fit workouts into your schedule, then I think you're gonna love it. And that's all I'm gonna say for now, but stay tuned. We will be chatting more about it very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. If you did enjoy it and you'd like to see more from me, make sure to subscribe. I upload new videos every week, and I will see you next time.